Okay, so all what I've done so far are very crucial to the examination syllabus. However, there are some others that are not so strong in terms of likely question, and they will still have others like business valuation, merger and acquisition, international investment appraisal, adjusted present value that we have not touched. Then option is still there, portfolio theory, and capital asset pricing model. We still have all those ones. So I want us to move a little, please. Now, today we're supposed to discuss, we have discussed sensitivity analysis. We're supposed to discuss expected value, okay? Even though we have already solved one question on the expected value. The question number 4 we solved was it there on Thursday, right? Yeah. Or maybe, I will solve that question 4. I will solve it. Are you with me? I will solve question 4.
We have not solved this, sir.
Okay, what did I say then?
You said you will solve it today.
Oh, okay. So let's solve that then. Let's solve it. Let's solve question 4. So that in case you come across a similar question, you'll be able to do something reasonable. Very important. So let me go to question 4. We can't afford to jump that question. Sorry, my voice is somehow. I'm having cold. So I might not be too audible the way I used to be today. Question 4. Okay. So let's look at this question together. This is way.
Hey.
Forgetting that you are not.
Hey, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I did not know. I didn't know. Sorry, sir.
No, Allah. So let's look at the requirement of the question. Let's look at the requirement. Required for division A, assess and recommend which of the 2 models of the machine should be purchased, if any. In this part, ignore the market research. B, if the market research is undertaken, recommend the maximum sum division A should be prepared to pay for the market research survey, assuming the decision will be based on a calculation of expected net present value. C, explain the major limitations of expected value criterion in a decision of this nature. And D, for division B, provide an appraisal of the proposal from the 2 suppliers and recommend the more appropriate proposal. State any assumptions you made. Provide a justification why it is not appropriate to use the same cost of capital to appraise the 2 projects under consideration. Now, this was July 2020, right? Yeah, I think so. July 2020 exam question 1. Okay. So let's see the question in detail. Toluwalashe PSC, TP, is a multinational company operating in many sectors of the Nigerian economy. All major capital expenditure proposals are appraised and approved or rejected at the group corporate head office. At the moment, Division A and Division B have submitted the underlisted project for review. Division A. This division manufactures household appliances for sale in Nigeria and ECOWAS sub-region. The division is considering the development of a new product with a planned selling price of 10,000 naira. It is expected that the selling price will be held constant over the initial planning period of 5 years. The company is uncertain about the scale of demand and the selling price of 10,000 naira. It is estimated that 2 states of demand are equally likely, state A and state B. Once the state has been identified, there remains some uncertainty about the actual level of demand as a result of general economic conditions. Now, what are we saying here? Now, the company itself is Toluwalashe PSC. That is TL. That's the name of this company. Now, this company has 2 divisions. So the 2 divisions are considering 2 different projects. The question on division A and division B are not related. Please take note. So division A are considering the project it is considering. Now, for division A, we are told that the company, the division is what? Is the division manufactures household appliances, and it sells it in Nigeria and across the ECOWAS sub-region. Now, the division is now considering to develop what? A new product. The division wants to develop a new product. We are dealing with division now, not company. This division is under the company. So forget about Toluwalashe now. We are dealing with this division. Now, the information of the new product is that the product will sell for 10,000 naira per unit. And it will have a period of 5 years. So the selling price is not expected to change over 5 years. So it's going to be 10,000 naira all through the 5-year period. Okay, it's going to be 10,000 naira all through the 5-year period of that product. Okay. It's not telling us there is uncertainty around this new product that the division is developing. What is the uncertainty? The uncertainty is that the company does not know what state of demand will occur. You know, when you are projecting, you will not be sure what your level of demand will be for your product. You will not be sure. Now, but you can make a projection. Okay, you can make a projection of your expectation. So according to this division now, this division has identified 2 possibilities under 2 states. State A and what? And state B. So the demand can come under state A. It can also come under state B. Now, once the state has been identified, there remains some uncertainty about the actual level of demand as a sort of general economic condition. So 2 factors are affecting demand here. 2 factors are affecting demand. Number 1 is the general level of demand, which may fall under state A or state B. And the second factor is general economic conditions. However, the information of general economic condition is not given to us. So we are not going to consider that. It's just an additional information. We don't have quantitative data on the general economic condition. So there's nothing we can do about it. Now, for state A and state B, we are given some quantitatives in order to deal with each of the states. Now, state A, under state A, that is, if our demand is under state A. If our demand occur under state A, now volume per annum will be either 8,000, 11,000, or 15,000. So these are the three possible levels of demand. If we are facing state A, our demand can be 8,000, it can be 11,000, it can be 15,000. If we are facing state B, our demand can be 12,000, it can be 15,000, and it can be what? It can be 19,000. These are the probabilities: 0.2, 0.6, 0.2, the same thing for state B. Now, when we are given a question of this nature, the first thing that should come to your mind is that we are given different possibilities under one condition. 3 different possibilities under one condition. Of course, let's say in 2021, it is not possible to say, oh, my demand is 8,000, my demand is 11,000, my demand is 15,000. No. You are able to say, oh, for this year, my demand is 10,000. You cannot have different demand in a single year. Do you understand? Because of this, under state A, you may need to compute a single value for your demand. You need to compute a single value for your demand. And how do you do that? You multiply the possible demand by their respective probability. That is 8,000 times this, 11,000 times this, 15,000 times this. Whatever the result you have, you sum them together. That is your expected demand. So when you are faced with this kind of situation, you need to compute your expected demand. You need to compute your expected demand. You do the same thing for state B. So it means I will have one expected demand for state A. I will have one expected demand for state B. Now, let us continue. It is possible to commission a market research to discover with certainty whether state A or state B prevails. Now, we don't know what the level of demand will be. It can be state A, it can be state B. But we can conduct a research. We can conduct a market research that will make us identify with certainty so that we be sure that, oh, okay, it is state A that we apply, or it is state B, so that we don't have either state A or state B. We just have one state. Okay, that is state A with certainty, or state B, not state A or B. Do you understand? That is what the market research can do for us. The market research will enable us to identify with certainty that this is the state that will occur. Okay. The manufacturer of the product will require the purchase of a machine. You know, this is a new product. If we want to go ahead and manufacture this new product, we need to buy a machine. Now, the company is considering two models of machine. Of course, you are buying either of the two models. You cannot buy the two models at the same time. It's either you are buying the first model or the second model. So we want to evaluate which of the model of machine to buy. Now, one which costs 80 million and has a capacity of 12,000 units per annum, and one which costs 120 million and add a capacity of 20,000 units per annum. So I can label this as small machine and this one as bigger machine. So it means I'm looking at, should I buy the smaller machine or should I buy the bigger one? Okay, should I buy the bigger machine or the smaller machine? Which of the model of machine this division A buy? Both models will have lives of 5 years and no scrap value at the end of that time, and no scrap value at the end of that time. Okay. In addition to the cost of machine, the manufacturer of the product, the manufacturer of the product will involve variable cost of 5,000 naira per unit and an incremental annual cash fees cost of 20 million naira. The division has cost of equity of 20% and cost of debt net of tax of 10%. The target debt equity ratio is 1. Ignore taxation and inflation. Now, that information on division A is what you are going to use to answer requirement A and B. You don't need information of the division at all. Look at it. The requirement A is for division A. That is explicit enough. That requirement is explicit enough. For division A, assess and recommend which of the 2 models of the machine should be purchased, if any. In this part, ignore the market research. Now, what do? I want to evaluate, should we buy the small machine or should we buy the bigger machine? How will I make my decision? How will I conclude? How will I conclude? For me to conclude, for me to reach a conclusion, I will have to compute the NPV that I'm going to achieve if I buy the small machine, and the NPV I'm going to achieve if I buy the bigger machine. Okay, you can see that the question does not tell you to use NPV, but I've told you several times that whenever you are making a decision in investment appraisal, the NPV criteria prevails. So our decision here is going to be based on NPV. And how do we go about it? Now, let's go to where we have this. The question has told us that, excuse me. The question has told us that we are considering 2 machines, the small one and the big one. The capacity of the small one is 12,000 units. Now, what you are going to do now is you compute the NPV of the smaller machine under when demand is state A, or when demand falls in state B. Let me repeat again. You will compute the NPV of the small machine under each of these 2 states. Under each of these 2 states. So NPV of smaller machine for state A, NPV of the smaller machine for state B. Whatever the result you achieve in the 2 states, you will combine it. How will you combine it? Look at this statement here. It is estimated that 2 states of demand are equally likely. 2 states of demand are equally likely, state A and state B. So after computing your NPV for state A and for state B, then you multiply them by 50% because they have 50-50 chance of occurring. They have 50-50 chance of what? Of occurring. So whatever the NPV is under state A, I will multiply by 50%. Whatever it is under state B, I will multiply by 50%. So that will be the NPV of the smaller machine. You will do the same thing to the bigger machine. You compute NPV under state A, NPV under state B. Then you take the what? You take the expected value by multiply the NPV under these two situations by 50%. Then that will give you the expected NPV of the bigger machine. The one that will give you the higher NPV is the alternative that you are going to select. Now, if I want to compute the NPV of the smaller machine, what I will do is I will need to get my expected volume, expected volume. Now, when we are computing your expected volume, you must make reference to the capacity of this machine. What is the capacity of the machine? The capacity of the machine is 12,000. That's the capacity. Now, if the machine has the capacity to manufacture 12,000 products, is there any way you can sell 15,000? I want to hear your opinion. Your machine has the capacity of manufacturing 12,000 units. Is there any way you can sell 15,000 units of the product?
No, sir.
No. You cannot sell above what your machine can manufacture. Therefore, when you are computing your expected value, you must limit the demand to what? To the capacity of that machine. It therefore means that under state A, I will have 8,000 times 0.2, 11,000 times 0.6, but for the 15,000, I will have to restrict it to what? 12,000, because that is what my machine can produce. So instead of 15,000, I will have 12,000 times 0.2. That is the only hidden secret of this question. That is the only hidden secret. All other things are very, very straightforward. The student face the challenge of restricting the volume to what? To the capacity of the machine. Okay, so let us continue. Now, when we are done with that, you come to state B as well. Compute the expected volume. 12,000 times 0.2. This is going to be 12,000 times 0.2 because we cannot sell 15,000. Also, this is going to be 12,000 because we cannot sell 19,000. So 12 times 0. On the average, you are still going to get 12 here because everything is 12. By the time you take it times 12 times 0.2, 12 times 0.6, 12 times 0.2, we are still coming back to 12,000. Now, our selling price is 15,000. Sorry, selling price is 10,000. Variable cost is what? Variable cost is, where do we have that? Variable cost, we are given that. Variable cost is 5,000. What does that mean? Contribution is 5,000. Contribution is selling price minus variable cost. Selling price minus variable cost will give us contribution. So 10,000 minus 5,000 is our contribution. That is the contribution we use to multiply the expected value you have here, so that you get your total contribution. After getting the total contribution, then you go and pick your fixed cost because we have fixed cost. Abi, we are told that the fixed cost will be 20 million per annum. Annual cash fixed cost is 20 million. So remove the 20,000 from the contribution. Remove it from the contribution, you will get your net cash flow. Then go and compute your cost of capital. The question has given you the information: 20% cost of equity, 10% cost of debt. Our gearing is 1, which is 50-50, or you call it 100-100 or 1-1 or 2-2, whatever ratio you are using. Because gearing is 1. If gearing is 1, then it means debt and equity are the same. If your gearing is 1, it means gearing is 100%. Therefore, debt is 100% of equity. because we are measuring it based on what? Debt equity, not debt equity plus debt. Okay. Let's go and see. After you have deducted your fixed cost, you will now discount using your cost of capital, annuity factor 5 years at the cost of capital. You get your present value. When you get your present value, take away this 80,000 cost of the machine. Take it away from it. You get your net present value. Go and do the same thing to state B. When you are done that, you are done with what? You are done with a small machine. You just take 50% of NPV of A, 50% of NPV of B. Add them together. That is the expected net present value. So the same approach will be taken for the bigger machine. I will now make your conclusion based on the one that will give you the higher NPV. So let's see. I think I should have the solution to this down there. Let me go and show you how it is done. Okay. Okay, so this is the question. Sorry, the solution rather. Now, look at state A. We want to compute NPV of the smaller model. NPV of the smaller model. And the smaller model has a capacity of what? 12,000 units. It has a capacity of 12,000 units. So we now multiply 8,000 times 0.2, 11,000 times 0.6, 12,000 times 0.2. You can see that I did not use 15,000 because my capacity is 12,000. That's why I'm using 12,000 here. I cannot sell 15,000 where my machine can only produce 12,000. So that gives me expected value of 10,600. The same thing for the bigger, for state B rather. For state B, 12,000 times 0.2, 12,000 times 0.6, 12,000 times 0.2. That will give us 12,000, like I said earlier. We now go and compute the NPV now under the two scenarios. Selling price is 10,000. Variable cost is 5,000. Contribution is 5,000. In the exam, if there was any student that is able to interpret this question correctly, that student cannot spend more than 20 minutes to finish question number 1. Honestly, that student will not spend 20 minutes to finish question number 1. If there was anybody that could interpret the question correctly by identifying that there will be need to restrict the volume to the actual capacity of the machine, that student will not spend more than 20 minutes to dismantle this question. Okay. Now, we're going to compute our NPV. You can see under state A, under state B. Under state A, our expected units sold is 10,600. And under state B, expected units sold is 12,000. So what's our contribution? Contribution is 5,000 times units sold. That's your contribution. If you like, you can do selling price. That is selling price 10,000 times this, variable cost 5,000 times this. You are still coming back to this 53 million. So this is just a shorter approach. It does not mean that you have to compute contribution. No, it does not mean that you have to compute contribution. If you so wish, you can make it detailed. Sales revenue 10,000 times units sold. Put it there. Variable cost per unit times units sold. So revenue minus variable cost, you get your contribution. Then remove your fault. our fixed cost is 20 million. Remove 20 million from it. So the contribution here is 53 million. The contribution here is 60 million. Fixed cost is 20 million, 20 million. When you remove it, we have net cash flow of 33 million and of what? 40 million. Now, our cost of capital. Let's go and compute our cost of capital. Division A the work of division A, which is this, 20% times 1 market value of equity over 2 market value of equity plus market value of debt plus 0.1, which is cost of debt, times market value of debt, which is 1, all over market value of equity plus market value of debt. So it simply means that this one is half, this one is half. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. So 10 plus 5, 15%. That is our cost of capital. As simple as that. So I will go and compute.
Please, can you break that down?
You said?
That cost of capital and cost of the work.
Okay, this is the work. Any question on it?
Yes, from the question, they said, can you go back to the question where they told us about the target debt to equity? The ratio is 1. What does that mean?
It means they are the same. They are the same. They are equal. Debt and equity are equal.
Okay, so that means debt is 1 and equity is 1.
Equity is 1 as well.
Okay.
So it says to tell you that the target debt equity ratio is 100%. You understand?
Yeah.
Instead of what they can tell you is 100%. So it's still the same thing. Are you fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we have our annuity factor. Our annuity factor our annuity factor, 15% year 1 to 5 is 3.352. You can confirm that. 15% year 1 to 5 will give you 3.352. 3.35. And when you multiply this by that, we have 110,616,000. Here we have 134,080,000. So remove the cost of the machine from it. Remove the cost of the machine. We have net present value. So you cannot have 2 different net present value for 1 single machine. Your net present value has to be 1. But here we are having net present value under 2 conditions. So you have to merge them together. And that was the reason why the question tells you that the 2 states are equally likely. Look at it. 2 states of demand are equally likely. So where 2 alternatives are equally likely, it means they have 50-50 chance of being selected. They have 50-50 chance of being selected. So we multiply the NPV under state A by 50%. Because what I did there. I multiply the NPV under state B by 50%. Add the 2 together. We have 42,348,000. 42,348,000. Okay, 42,348,000. That is the expected net present value of the smaller machine. You can see how simple this question was. And very short. Now, we do the same thing for the bigger machine. Do the same thing for the bigger machine. For the bigger machine, the capacity is 20,000. So we are not going to have restriction because all our possible demand are not up to 20,000. So there won't be any restriction as to our demand here because the bigger machine has the capacity to produce 20,000 units. So 8,000 times it, we have 1 6, 11,000 times 1 6, 6,600. Then this one, instead of 12 that we use under smaller machine, is going to be full 15,000, which is 3,000. Adding these three together, we have 11,200. State B, 12,000, 15,000, 19,000, multiplied by their respective probabilities. We give you 15,200. So you go ahead and compute your LV. This you do the other one. Your selling price will not differ, and the contribution will be the same as well. So state A, state B, expected units sold 11,200 here under state A, and 15,200 under state B. Contribution will be 5,000 times units sold, which is 56 million here, 76 million there. Incremental fees cost 20 million each. So our net cash flow is 36 million here, 56 million there. Okay, 56 million here. Our annuity factor remains the same. Then our present value is 126,672,000 and 187,712,000. So remove the cost of machine. The cost of the bigger machine is 120 million. Remove it from here. We have 672,000, 66,712,000. Now, our expected value will be what? The two states are equally likely. Take the expected value, multiply them by what? Each of the state by 0.5. So we have 34,182,000. 34,182,000. So you now compare which one is higher between the NPV of the bigger machine and NPV of the smaller machine. You will see that the NPV of the smaller machine is higher. So we now conclude that division A should buy the smaller machine to get NPV of 42,348,000. Look at this very well and ask me your question. Question, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I have not copied anything with this thing. You are very fast.
Hello? Hey, okay.
Do we need to copy? Maybe you will send the note to us. I think you've already sent it.
Okay, I will send the note. Don't worry. I will send the note.
To save time.
You know, it's because I've already solved this. You know the way we have been doing, we solve it together, Abby? That is why you couldn't copy. Don't worry. Immediately I will send the note so that you can have it. But did you understand the procedure? That is the most important.
Yes, sir.
Hello. How are you doing? So you were very fast, so I cannot say whether I understood.
So how are you?
I'm very fast.
Yes.
So check up with you.
I spent 40 minutes on this question. You say I'm fast. If I'm fast, I will have finished it too. I didn't hear you. You are muted. I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself and talk, please? Mrs. Angela.
I said,
Yeah.
when you were showing your notes, you were very fast. You were jumping, so I cannot really check and know whether I understood it or not. That's what I said.
Okay. This is what we did there. We're evaluating two machines. Have you? You understood the question? I've analyzed the question, right? You don't understand the question. You know what you want to do.
I do. I understood the question.
Okay, good. Now, I now said, let us start with the smaller machine. The smaller machine has a capacity of 12,000, right? Now, we need to compute the expected units sold. If you look at the question, let's go back to that question. This question, we're told that the demand can fall under two states, under two different states. I mean, it's either state A or state B. Okay? It's either state A or state B. Now, if it is state A, demand can be 8,000, it can be 11,000, it can be 15,000. And the probability that our demand will be 8,000 is 20%. The probability that the demand will be 11,000 is 60%. The probability that the demand will be 15,000 is 20%. Now, when you are faced with a situation of this nature, what you are going to do is that you will multiply each of the possible by its associated probability. So 8,000 times 20%, 11,000 times 60%. Now, instead of me saying 15,000 times 20%, because this smaller machine is having a capacity of 12,000, I will not be able to sell 15,000 units. I will not be able to sell 15,000 units because the machine I'm considering can only manufacture 12,000. So this 15,000 demand will not be achievable. So I will need to restrict it to what the machine can take, to what the machine can produce. That's the reason why we are using 15,000 for the third demand. But when we come to state B is 12,000, which is the same capacity here. Now, here also, we cannot sell 15,000 when our machine can only produce 12,000. So we restricted it to what? To 12,000. The same condition for this. We cannot sell 19,000 units when our machine can only produce 12,000 units. So we have to restrict it to 12,000 units. So I will now multiply 12,000 units times 0.2, which is 20%. 15,000 times 60%. 90,000 times 20%. Whatever the addition gives me is the expected sales under state B. Now, I've gotten your expected sales under state A and under state B. You will now have to go and get your what? Your selling price. The question says the selling price is 10,000 units. We have it up here. This is the 10,000 units. The unit here, the expected unit here The selling price per unit is 10,000 naira. Now, the variable cost we're told is going to be 5,000. Therefore, my contribution is going to be 10,000 naira, which is the selling price, minus 5,000 naira variable cost of sale. So I will multiply that contribution by the unit I got under the two situations. And that is what we did here. Look at it. What did we do? We multiplied this at respective probability. Look at it. This is state A. This is state A. This is state B. So 8,2 gave us 1,600. 11,000 times 0.6 gave us 6,600. 12,000 times 0.2 gave us 2,400. And I've told you the reason for this 12,000. I think I explained that. The reason is that 15,000 that we have there, we cannot sell the 15,000 because our machine can only produce 12,000. So we need to restrict it to what the machine can produce. That is how we got our expected value of 10,600. So for step B, we did the same thing, but this time around, all the units here were the same, Abi, because this one was 15,000, but because the machine can only produce 12,000, we are restricting the demand to 12,000. Here was supposed to be 19,000, but because the machine can only produce 12,000, we are restricting the demand to 12,000. So 12,000 times 0.2, which is 20%, is 2,400. 12,000 times 0.6 is 7,200. 12,000 times 0.2 is 2,400. So in total, we have 12,000 units. Mrs. Angela, did you understand it up to this level now?
Yes, yes, I did.
Okay. Now, we have gotten our unit now. The next thing is to go and compute our contribution. Because for you to compute NPV, you need your revenue, you need your variable cost, you need your associated fixed cost, which is relevant fixed cost, so that you get your net cash flow that you will now discount and remove the cost of machine from it. Because the cost of the machine is an outflow. So whatever your inflow, you discount it, remove the cost of the machine from it, you get your NPV. So you will do it for each of the two states, state A and state B. Under state A, these are expected units sold. Under state B, this is the expected units sold, the one we computed here. The one we computed here. And contribution is 5,000. So 5,000 times units sold, meaning that 5,000 times 10,600 will be 3 million. 5,000 times 12,000 will give us 60 million. Okay? Now, we now remove our what? You know, this contribution is an income. It's like our profit. Okay, profit before deducting a fixed cost. That's what contribution represents. So remove your fixed cost from the contribution so that we can have our net cash flow. This is the net cash flow. Having obtained our net cash flow, we need to discount, and we have computed the discount rate to be 15%. 15%, the project will have 5 years. So annuity factor 50%, year 1 to 5, is giving us 3.352. So multiply the net cash flow by the annuity factor. We have 110,606,000 here. We have 134,080,000. We now remove the cost of buying the machine. To buy the machine is 80 million naira. So remove it from here. We have 30,606,000. Remove it from here. We have 54,080,000. So the expected value will now be based on the information given in this question that the two states here, look at it. We have two states, state A and state B, and they are what? They are equally likely. Equally likely. Equally likely means they have 50-50 chance of occurring. The two, state A has 50% chance of occurring. State B also has 50% chance of occurring. Therefore, excuse me. Okay, so because of that, you will need to multiply. You know, multiply this NPV by 50%. You also multiply this NPV by 50%. And that's how we got this figure that gave us 42,348,000. Mrs. Angela, is this understood?
Yes. Thank you.
So I'm not going to waste time on the bigger machine because it's the same approach. It's the same approach. Okay. The only thing is this. The capacity of the bigger machine is 20,000. So no restriction. No restriction. Because the machine is 40,000 and a possible there. There is no one of them that up to 20,000 units. So we can achieve all this demand. No restriction. No restriction. So we have 10,200 on state A and 15,200 under state B. And you go ahead and compute PV the same way. The same way. You can see the same thing we did under small machine is what I'm going to do under bigger. The only thing that will change is this one here, the unit. So all that will depend on that unit. If it's concerned. You understand? So when you do this, our expected net present value will be 34,192,000. So when we compare the two, this one is giving us 34 million. The other one is giving us 42 million. Which one is better for us? The one that will give us a higher benefit is better. And that's the reason why we concluded that we should select the smaller machine, because the smaller machine we have a higher NPV of 42,348,000. So that's requirement A. That's requirement A. Now let's look at requirement B. Requirement B. Requirement B. If the market research is undertaken, recommend the maximum sum division A should be prepared to pay for the market research survey, assuming the decision will be based on a calculation of expected net present value. Now, that is what we call value of perfect information. Okay, before discussing value, that's what we call perfect information. Perfect information is this. For instance, the reason why you are taking this lesson is because you are not sure whether if you do not take lecture, if you read on your own to write SFM exam, You are not sure whether you can read and what and pass the exam on your own. That's the reason why you are taking this lecture, right? So that is to say that it is risky. Whichever decision you take is risky. Because number one is that if you decide to read on your own and eventually you are not able to understand the requirement of the question, it means not to let me refer to your enemy. Your enemy will have to come back and write the same exam, right? But you don't say, okay, instead of this, don't let me take even though you are still taking risk, because you cannot run away from risk. You now say, okay, let me engage a tutor. And that's the reason why you contacted me. Okay, can you take us this? When you are taking it, you are paying, isn't it? So you paying is that means that you are what? You are incurring a cost. Now, if you have someone that will tell you with certainty that come, I am a researcher, and based on maybe a researcher and a psychologist, I tell you that the study I conducted on you, I tell you that even without taking lecture, you will pass this exam reading on your own. That is what we call perfect information. Instead of you contemplating, should I take lecture or should I read on my own? You know, these are alternative courses of action. Should I take lecture or should I read on my own for this exam? It's a decision you have to make. And that decision is a risky decision because whichever one you have decided upon will have implication. If you take lecture, you pay. If you read on your own, you might not be able to write the exam with what? With a reasonable degree of confidence. Now, but if someone is able to tell you that, come, don't take lecture, read on your own, you are going to pass this exam, that person is giving you perfect information. I don't know if I'm communicating here. Hello, are we together? Am I communicating? I want to explain perfect information. I want to explain what we mean by perfect information before we go to what we mean by value of perfect information. So that person that is able to tell you that don't take lecture, read on your own, has given you a perfect information. Now, the providers of perfect information, who are basically researchers, will not give you information for free. For the person to give you that information, you have to pay the person, right? You pay the person. Now, the amount you are paying the person is the value of the information you are getting from that person. The amount you pay to get that perfect information from that person that supplied the information to you is the value of the perfect information. That is the value of the perfect information. Am I communicating, please? Now, if I want to, if in the exam, like what we are facing here, the question says, it is what? Let me go to the question and see, so that I can take it the way it is in the question. It is possible to commission a research to discover with certainty whether state A or state B prevails. Consider that. It is possible for us to carry out a research to determine whether the situation that we call is A or B. So it means it is possible for us to get perfect information. It is possible for us to get perfect information. The question is now that, okay, that perfect information, that's the perfect information will be gotten through a market research. The person that will carry out the research for us, how much should we pay the person? is what you have to decide. You cannot just pay, because if you pay, every information you are getting, perfect information has value. If you pay above the value of the information, then your NPV might be thrown to negative. So you have to compute what should be the maximum price you should be ready to pay to acquire that perfect information. You have to decide on it. And how do you compute that value of perfect information now? To compute value of perfect information, you will have to compute 2 NPV. You have to compute 2 NPV. The first NPV is NPV under risk. Okay, that is the NPV you have computed without considering the market research. That is the one we computed here. The one we computed here, you can see, is what? Is under risk. That's why you're having expected value, state A, state B. You are taking the average. Okay, that is under risk. This expected, we have concluded that we should choose what? We said we should choose the bigger machine, Abi. We said we should choose the bigger machine. Sorry, the smaller machine, sorry. We said we should choose the smaller machine. So it means my NPV under risk, is 42,348,000. Okay, that is my expected net present value under risk. That has already been computed. The second NPV you are going to compute now is expected value, assuming that we conducted the market research. That is what we call expected value under perfect information. That's the next thing you need to consider. When you compute it, you will now compare the expected value under perfect information with the expected value under risk. The difference between the expected value under perfect information and expected value under risk is the amount you should be ready to pay to acquire that information. So in this situation, that is the maximum amount you should be ready to pay for the market research. Am I communicating? Are we here?
Yes, sir, we are here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let us see how we compute the value of the perfect information. This is what we are going to do. You will take the two states, state A, state B. What's the NPV for the smaller machine under state A? Is 30,616. This is what I'm talking about. Let me go up and show you. For the smaller machine, this smaller, okay, this is smaller machine. The net present value of the smaller machine under state A is what? 30,606,000. You state it. You pick this one too. The expected net present value of the smaller machine under state B is 54,080,000. You take that as well. You go to the bigger machine. Expected net present value under state A for the bigger machine is 672,000 naira. Expected value of the bigger machine under state B is what? 67,712,000. In short, you will take the expected value under each of the states and under the different alternatives. Okay, that is the summary I gave down there. That's the summary I gave here. You can see. Under state A, the expected value of the smaller machine is 30,660,000. The expected value of the bigger machine under state A is 672,000. The expected value of the smaller machine under state B is 54,080,000. The expected value of the bigger machine under state B is 67,712,000. So now look at it. If someone now tell you that, if someone is able to predict and tell you that, forget about state B, it is state A that will occur. Listen again. We have two states here. If someone comes to you and tells you that, state B will not occur, I can assure you 100%. Forget about it. Okay, the person is telling you assuredly that state B can never occur, that you should forget about state B, that he is very sure 100% that the state that will occur is state A. Which of these two machines will you choose? Hello? Are we here?
Yes, sir.
So look at it here. Under state A, if it is state A that will occur, which of the two machines will you choose? You choose the smaller machine. Because under state A, the smaller machine has the higher what? Expected net present value. That's why we choose smaller under state A. Now, if that's the same person now tells you that, forget about state B. State B cannot occur. What will occur is forget about state A. State A will not occur. What will occur is state B. Which of the machine will you choose? You will choose one, bigger machine. Abi? Now, because the question has already told you that state A and state B has what? 50-50 chance of occurring. Please, this should be 0.5, not 0.2. Okay? Because the question has already told you that state A and state B has 50-50 chance of occurrence. So you will pick the one you selected here, which is 13,606,000. You multiply by 50%. You will pick the one you decided upon here, which is 67,712,000. You will multiply as well by 50%. Add the two together. You get 49,164,000. That is the expected value under perfect information. That is the expected value under perfect information. You will now compare this with expected value under risk. Look at it. Maximum price for the research is the difference between expected value under perfect information, which is 49,164,000, and expected value under risk, which is 42,348,000. So the difference between this is 6,806,000. That is the value of the perfect information. Meaning that if we want to go ahead and conduct this research, we must not pay above 6.8 million for the research. We must not pay above 6.8 million for the research, because that is the value that the research is expected to bring to us. That is the value we are expected to derive from the market research. So you cannot pay more than the benefit you are getting from the market research. And that is the reason why you will conclude that the maximum price to pay for the market research is 6.8 million naira. Any question on this? Any question on this?
The expected value under risk, the 42 million.
Yes.
Where is it from?
It's one we computed down. It's one we computed under A. The one we decided upon under A. Your conclusion under A is the expected value under risk.
Okay.
You know, this is what we decided on, Abi?
Yes.
Anyone you decided on here is the expected value under risk. That's the one you compare with expected value under perfect information. Risk is imperfect. You can call it expected value under imperfect information as well. Instead, you call it expected value under risk or expected value under imperfect information. Because when you say, oh, state A or state B, that is, you are not having perfect information. Mrs. Angela. Mrs. Angela, are you with us?
Office, we are closing. I'm with you.
Okay, I find.
Yes, I'm just locking my office. Hey, I'm locking my office. I'm with you people.
Okay. As well. Oh, you are no longer with us.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are
The
you
thing
with
is,
us?
I am. The thing is breaking somehow. I am.
No problem.
Now, can you scroll down a bit?
Yeah, Abby?
No, down a
Down.
down. No, up. No, up. I want to see the perfect information. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That perfect information.
Up a bit.
So I want
Up
to
a.
ask. It's okay. I want to ask, why do we have to multiply it by 50% again?
Because the question says the state A and state B, they have 50-50 chance of being selected. You know, I told you that you cannot have two different MPV, Abby?
Yes,
Hello?
but yeah, I understand that part, but I think we've already done that in the first question. I'm going to repeat it again.
No. We have not done it. Oh. This one here, we have not multiplied by 50%. Oh.
I think we did something. You did something similar to that earlier.
Yes, the one we did is this one times 50, this one times 50. That was the one that gave us 42 million here.
Yes.
That's the one that gave us this.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
But here you can see that here now, have I multiplied it here? No.
Okay. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I've not multiplied it here. Likewise, this one also, I've not multiplied it. So whatever you have here times 50%, whatever you have here times 50%. Shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the question again. Let's go to the question again. You can see that this third requirement here we have to explain the major limitation of expected value criterion in decision of this nature. Now, majorly, the limitation of expected value are the fact that they are based on probabilities, estimates, and of course, it depends on past statistics. Before you can use expected value, you must have estimated your probabilities. You can see that all what we did there is what? This times this, this times this. So it's based on probability, and your probability may be very difficult to estimate. I think I have it down here. And look at it, limitations. Expected value is based on probability estimate, which may not be accurate. Okay? All what we did there are based on what? They are based on probabilities. So those probabilities may not be accurate. 2, it is based on historical information. For you to get the probabilities here, you must have historical information. So you are using historical information to predict what happens in the future. Okay, so what happens in the past may not be the same with what will happen in the future. So your expected value may not be correct. It may not be correct. Then it is only suitable for a repetitive decision. What do you mean here? Before you can calculate expected value, you cannot calculate expected value from one single information. For instance, if I want to compute expected value for what happens in 2022, I cannot base it only on what happens in 2021. No, it's not possible. Because I cannot get probability based on one single figure. Before you can estimate probability, you must have had what? Series of occurrences. Maybe 2019 figures, 2020 figures, and 2021 figures. So I'll be able to compute probability based on that. You understand? So what happened in 2021, all over the total occurrences so far will give us the probability of what will happen in the future. So for you to use expected value, it is applicable where repetitive decision has to be made. Okay, you are making the decision on a repetitive situation. That is why you can use your expected value. So these are some of the limitations of expected value. These are some of the limitations of expected value. And that's the end of question. The question on division A. You can see that requirements A, B, C were solved. You see, and in this maybe to solve to be no. There are two different questions. That question we are seeing there can be separated into two. One can be question one, that one can be question two. Yes, very possible because they are not related. They are not dependent. Now, let us go and look at the information and what's the comment of D for division B. See? For division B, provide an appraisal of the proposals from the two suppliers and recommend the more appropriate proposal. The E, provide a justification why it is not appropriate to use the same cost of capital to appraise the two projects under consideration. So let's go and look at the information of division B. Division B. This division runs staff cantines for a number of major corporate organizations in Abuja. The meals are prepared at a central location. The division is in the process of purchasing a new industrial dishwasher. The division has received quotes from two suppliers, Yarrow and Tony. Both quotes meet the necessary requirements. Yarrow is offering a dishwasher that will cost 9 million naira and has an expected life of 10 years, after which it is expected to have 200,000 naira scrap value. A warranty is included for the first year. However, after that, continuing maintenance is available at 5.4 million for a single payment to cover the remaining 9-year period. Or alternatively, by an annual charge of 750,000 naira payable in advance of the year of cover. Tony is offering a dishwasher at 7.35 million, this machine is only expected to last 5 years, after which it will have a scrap value of 1.1 million. The supplier offers maintenance service at an annual cost of 720,000 naira, payable annually in advance. The first year's maintenance is covered by the manufacturer's warranty. Division B's cost of capital is 6%. The purchase of the new dishwasher is essential to comply with the new hygiene requirements introduced by the central government to reduce food poisoning outbreaks. Now, what problem are we facing here? The problem we are facing here is that we want to buy a dishwasher, and we have two suppliers who have given us their quotations. We have two suppliers who have given us their quotations. We now want to decide from which of the suppliers should we buy the dishwasher. How do we conclude on this? You know, when you buy, it's based on what? You can see that here, you don't have anything like revenue, Abi. Do you have anything like revenue, variable cost? No. Unlike in division A. In division A, you are seeing revenue, you have seen variable cost. So it means you are computing NPV in that area. But here, we are not having revenue, we are not having variable cost. So what we just want to decide here is not that which of the two machines will give us the higher benefit. No, that is not what we want to decide on. Under division A, what we wanted to decide on is these two machines here, which one will give us the higher benefit. And that was the reason why we computed NPV. But in this one, you can't compute NPV because you don't know the additional benefit that this machine will bring. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Under here, what we are considering right now, you can see that we don't have any inflow. Do we have any inflow? No, no inflow. Everything is outflow. Cost of the machine is outflow. Maintenance cost is outflow. But division B, we have cost of the machine, we have revenue, we have variable cost, we have fixed cost. So we had a mixture of revenue and cost for division B. That was the reason why we based our decision on net present value. But here, purely we have cost, no revenue, no inflow. So our decision here is going to be based on present value, not net present value, it's present value. And how do you apply your present value? When you are deciding upon which of two machines to buy, what your decision will be is that you will buy the machine that will give us or that will result in the lower payment. The one that we want, that will reduce your payment, where your payment will be at the minimum. That's what you're going to buy, Nabi. If I want to buy my phone now, one supplier is giving me 50,000 naira. The other one is giving me 40,000 naira. Which supplier will I choose? I will choose the supplier that is giving me 40,000 naira because that is where my payment will be minimized. So the same thing is happening here. We want to decide, should we buy this machine from Yaro or should we buy it from Tony? Should we buy from Yaro or should we buy from Tony? That is what we want to decide upon. And to do this, you have to pick the information of Yaro and compute the present value of cost of buying from Yarrow. You take the information of Tony, you compute the present value of cost of buying from Tony. Then you compare. Now, let's look at the information of Yarrow. Yarrow is offering a dishwasher that will cost 9 million and has an expected life of 10 years, after which it is expected to have a 200,000 scrap value. Consider that. That is information from Yarrow. The purchase price is 900,000 and it will last for 10 years with a scrap value of 200,000. Now, a warranty is included for the first year. Consider that. The machine will have warranty for the first year. Now, however, after that, continued maintenance is available at 5.4 million, meaning that the first year will be covered by the warranty. After the warranty expires, that is at the end of the first year, maintenance will not be what? The responsibility of the division B, and is available at what? 5.4 million for a single payment. If you want to pay once, you want to pay the maintenance once for the remaining 9 years. You know, it will remain 9 years now. We have 10 years, the machine will have 10 years, but the first year maintenance is covered by warranty. So it means we have 9 years of payment. Okay, we have to pay maintenance for 9 years from year 2 to what? From year 2 to year 10, we pay maintenance costs. Now, we are now told that if we want to pay the maintenance cost once, we will pay 5.4 million. Meaning that as we are paying 9 million to buy the machine, we also pay 5.4 million for maintenance. But that maintenance will now cover from year what? What do I call it? From year 2 to year 9, to year 10. From year 2 to year 10, that is 9 years. That is one option for a single payment to cover the remaining 9-year period, okay? Or alternatively, by an annual charge of 750,000 payable in advance of the year of cover. Now, if we don't want to make a one-time payment, we can decide to pay 750,000 every year, and the payment will be in advance. What does that mean? You know, the first year is covered by warranty. The first year, in the second year, we need to pay maintenance. So the maintenance of the second year will be paid in the first year because payment should be made in advance. The maintenance of the third year will be paid in the second year and so forth, so that the one for the 10th year will be paid in year 9. So the first decision you need to reach is which of the maintenance should we adopt? Should we pay maintenance of 5.4 million once, or should we be paying maintenance of 750,000 naira for 9 years? That is it. Obviously, you cannot pay this and also pay this, because this is what? This is an alternative to this. So you have to choose one out of the two. You have to choose one out of the two. And the one you are going to choose should be the one that we want, that will result in the lower payments. Don't forget, when we are deciding on cost, you want to what? Minimize your cost. So you pick the one that will minimize your cost. How do I decide that? If I'm paying this one immediately, it's 5.4 million, I'll be paying it in year 0. Year 0 is immediately. So discount factor of year 0 is 1. So 1 times 5.4 will still be 5.4. If I'm paying this one 750,000 in advance, I will pay from year 1 to 9. I will pay from year 1 to 9. Now, it means it is regarded annuity, right? Okay. We have done a constant annuity. Annuity will have an end. So we'll be paying 750,000 from year 1 until year 9. That is constant annuity. So I will compute my annuity factor at the cost of capital. What is the cost of capital of this company? The cost of capital is 6%. So I will compute annuity factor 6%, year 1 to 9. I will use it to multiply 750,000. I will now compare my result with 5.4 million. The one that is lower is the one I'm going to choose. Now, I will now go and set my computation. Year 0, 9 million. If this is what we are choosing, I will have year 0 again, maintenance, 5.4 million. If this is the one we are choosing, I will have year 1 to 9, maintenance, 750,000. And in year 10, scrap value of 200,000. I will discount them using 6%. Get my dishwasher is 7.3. Best year maintenance is also covered by warranty, but after will be maintenance cost of 720,000. Here there is no alternative. Unlike this one where you have either this or this. For Yarrow, there is no alternative. The maintenance is 720,000 payable annually in advance. So the first one is covered by warranty. So it means we are going to pay maintenance 720,000 from year 1 to 4. Because year 2 maintenance will be paid in year 1, year 3 will be paid in year 2, year 4 will be paid in year 3, year 5 will be paid in year 4. So I will have year 0, 7.3, year 1 to 4, 720,000, and year 5, 1.1. I will discount. I get 9%. I get percent value. Now, it will not be fair for us to be comparing a machine that has 10 years. Look at it. This machine has 10 years. This one has 5 years. It will be unfair for us to be comparing a machine that has 10 years with machine that has 5 years. No, it's not fair. What do? We need to bring the present value we have computed to the same basis. And for you to bring them to the same basis, we use what we call annual equivalent cost. We use what we call annual equivalent cost. Annual equivalent cost is computed as present value all over annuity factor. So here, the present value of buying from Yarrow, I will divide it by annuity factor 6% year 1 to 10. The present value of buying from Tony, I will divide it by annuity factor 6% year 1 to 5 before I will compare my result. So the one that gives me the lower annual equivalent cost is the one I'm going to choose. That is how you are going to make your decision for division B dishwasher. Now let's go and see the solution. Okay. Look at Yarrow here. PV of Yarrow's offer. PV of Yarrow's offer. Now, I told you that the first thing we need to do is what? This is it. The first thing you need to do is to decide whether to pay 5.4 or to pay 750,000 for 9 years. If we pay 5.4, it will be immediate. So that is this 5.4 because you are paying it immediately. But if you make annual 750,000 payment for 9 years, it will be annuity factor 6% year 1 to 9 is 6.802. Multiplied by 750,000, we have 5,101,500. Obviously, that one is less than 5.4 million. So I will choose this. I will choose to pay 750,000 naira for 9 years. That is better for me than paying 5.4 million. That's the reason why we choose. That's the reason why we choose 750,000. Can you see that now? So here now, year 0 will be cost of the machine, cost of the asset. Let me call it asset. Cost of the asset is 9 million. We are paying immediately. So discount factor 6%, year 0 is 1. Our cost of capital is given after tax, right? So that's why we're having after tax there. If it is pre-tax, you have to convert it to post-tax. I think that principle should be part of you by now. Now, from year 1 to 9, we will pay maintenance cost of 750,000. And annuity factor 6% year 1 to 9 is 6.802. And that's what gave us 1,101,500. Then in year 10, we have scrap value. Scrap value is 200,000. Discount factor 6% year 10 is 0.558. So when you multiply, we have 111,600. So when you add all this together, we have 13,989,900. You must have negative because you are deciding on cost. Okay, it's going to be negative. So 13,989,900. Now for Tony's offer, the cost of the machine or the cost of the asset, is 7,350,000. Discount factor year 0 is 1. So we have this. Our maintenance cost is from year 1 to 4. And it's 720,000 naira, right? 720,000 naira. So annuity factor 6%, year 1 to 5. Yes, ma'am.
The first one, you said, I think we chose the first option. It's going to be under year 0, right?
Yes. Yes.
So for this second one, the maintenance cost, I can't remember what the question says, but is it not supposed to be under year 0 too, since we do not have option?
No. The first year maintenance is covered by what? Look at it. A warranty is included for the first year. However, after that, continued maintenance is available for this or this. Abi?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the first year, the first maintenance cost we are going to pay? Will be in which year?
Year 0 first.
Like, the company has already guaranteed us maintenance for the first year, Abi? So we need to pay maintenance for what? For the second year. True or false?
True.
And we are paying in advance. The one we are supposed to pay for the second year will be paying in which year?
Year 2.
Let me come again. You don't understand that my question. You know, in this question, first year maintenance is not our concern, Abi.
Yes, that's included.
Seller will bear maintenance for the first year. So we need to pay maintenance for the second year, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the maintenance we are paying for the second year, we need to be paid in advance. So anything you are paying in advance will be paid at the beginning of the year, Abi? Yes. And where is the beginning of year 2? Year 1.
Year 1.
So it's not year 0. If you go and treat it in year 0, it means what you are supposed to pay in 2023, you are paying it in 2021, which is not, that is no longer, that is double advance.
Yes, sir.
You're not convinced?
It's fine, sir.
Okay. So that's the reason why we have it as a year 0, year 1. You said?
For Tony.
Controlling.
Tony, the second offer.
Yes. For Tony, let's go there. For Tony, The suppliers offer maintenance service at an annual cost of 720,000, Abi, payable annually in what?
In advance.
The first year maintenance is covered by the manufacturer warranty. So for Tony also, we are not paying maintenance for the first year. We start paying from the second year, but we have to pay in advance. So the one for second year, we need to be paid in year one because it's in advance.
Okay.
So it's going to be from year, instead of from year 2 to 5, we pay from year 1 to 4.
Okay. All right.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So cost of the asset is this. Maintenance 720,000. Annuity factor 6% year 1 to 5 is this. Scrap value is 1.1 in year 5. Discount factor 6% year 5 is 0.747. And we have this. So adding the three, we have 9,023,100. Now, you see that this one has 10 years, Abby. This one has 5 years. So from here, you cannot conclude that, oh, go and buy from Tony. Because, you know, cost of buying from Tony is 9.9 million, Abby. The cost of buying from Yarrow is 13.9. But I cannot conclude from here. I can only conclude from here if the two machines are having the same number of years. If it is 10-10 or 5-5, then I can conclude direct. For instance, it's like you and your younger sister or brother, you are given the same exam to go and write. You are given the same exam to go and write. If you write the exam and you score 80%, and your younger sister write the exam and score 50%, I will not praise you over your sister because you are not on the same level. Okay, I cannot say, oh, you did well above your sister. No, because your level of understanding is expected to be higher than that of your sister. So I won't be able to compare the two of you because you are not of the same category. So the same thing happens here. This one we have 10 years, this one we have 5 years. It is not possible for you to compare them. What do you need to do? You need to bring them to the same level. And that is by annual equivalent cost. How do you compute annual equivalent cost? This is, you bring Yarrow here, Tony. Bring their what? Their present value, not net present value. Bring their present value. Bring their present value. So the present value of cost for Yarrow is 13.9, for Tony is 9.0. You now go and bring the what? You will compute annuity factor. You know, Yarrow, the machine from Yarrow, we have 10 years. So you have to compute annuity factor 6% from year 1 to 10. That's what we have here. For Tony, it's just for 5 years. You compute annuity factor 6% year 1 to 5. That's what you have here. So you will now divide whatever you had where, you will divide it by this. So 13,989,900 all over 7.36 will give us 1,900,802. 9,023,100 divided by 4.212 is 2,142,236. Now, I have brought the two to the same level. I cannot compare them. I can compare them from here. The moment you compute the annual equivalent cost, you have brought them to the same level. Now, the decision will now be to buy from who? From Yarrow. You can see that if you concluded from here, you will have decided that you should buy from Tony Abbey, and that could have been a wrong decision. When we computed the annual equivalent cost, we see that it is actually cheaper to buy Yarrow rather than buy from Tony. So this is a method of asset replacement, for instance. So when you are faced with this kind of decision, look at the lifespan of the two assets. Are they the same? If yes, make your decision from here. If no, then proceed. Compute the annual equivalent cost before making your decision. So my decision here is that this machine should be bought from Yaro, because that will result in a lower cost of 1,900,802. Now, the question says that we should state any assumptions that you make. There are situations where even though it is cheaper to buy from Yaro, I will still go and buy the one that is expensive. True or false? Is it not possible? Situation where I will not buy from the cheaper, I will higher price. I think, right? And what do you think will be responsible for such a situation? What do you think will be responsible for such a situation? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Nobody. Eh?
Maybe call it.
Okay, quality, Abby. Okay, quality. Okay. Apart from quality, assuming the two machines are of the same quality, the requirement tells you that they are of the same quality. Abby? They have the same quality. Now, what will make me to buy from Tony instead of Yaro is number one, is reliability. Is reliability. Is Yaro reliable? Is Yaro a reliable supplier? If Yaro is not reliable, then even though if it is cheaper to buy from Yaro, I may not buy from Yaro. I will still go ahead and buy from Tony, because Tony is what? Is reliable. So reliability. We are tired. So look at it. For us to conclude that we are buying from Yaro, is that number one, we are assuming that the two suppliers are reliable. That's our assumption. We assume they are reliable. Then both suppliers offer after-sales service. If Yaro is not offering after-sales service, but Tony is offering after-sales service, I may not buy from Yaro, even though it is cheaper to buy from Yaro, because I know that I'm going to buy after-sales service if I buy from Tony. So for me to have concluded to buy from Yaro, my assumption is that both Yaro and Tony offer after-sales service. Now, we are also assuming that the two machines has the same capacity. Okay, they can operate on the same level. Capacity is different from quality. Okay, two machines can have the same capacity but different quality. It's very possible. So for us to conclude to buy from Yaro, we are assuming that the capacity of the two machines are the same, unlike what we have under division A, where we have different capacity. Here we are assuming that the two machines have the same capacity. So these are the assumptions relevant to our conclusion. Now, the last one, which is D or E, Abby? E. E part of the statement says that we should what? We should provide a justification. Provide a justification why it is not appropriate to use the same cost of capital to appraise the two projects under consideration. Okay, what is our justification? Look at it. Which industry is Division A operating from? Division A is a manufacturing company. Division A is a manufacturing company. What about Division B? Division B is a service company, because the division is producing, providing a canteen service. So is a service company operating in what? In the hospitality industry. Now, the two divisions will have different business risk. And don't forget, where you have two different business risks, you need to compute project-specific cost of capital. So on that basis, it is not appropriate for you to use the same cost of capital to appraise the two divisions. Project-specific cost of capital must be computed and used for each of the division because they are not operating in the same industry. Also, if we are going to borrow to finance the purchase under division A, and we're also going to borrow to finance the purchase under division B, then the financial risk of the two companies, the two divisions might not be the same because the amount you need to borrow under division A will be different from the amount you are going to borrow under division B. So financial risk will not be the same. And if financial risk are not the same, then your work cannot be the same. So for this reason, it is better to compute project-specific cost of capital. So we cannot use the same cost of capital to discount the two projects under consideration. This is the end of question number 4. That's the end of question number 4. Now, our next discussion is going to be straight on adjusted present value, please. This September, and Mrs. Chiwe, I noted your suggestion, and I will be looking at my schedule where I have free time. Definitely, I will be organizing extra classes for you so that we can move at a very faster rate. However, I want to be sure that we are actually going through what we are doing here, because to say the fact, we have done a lot. I've done a lot. So I want to get assurance that you are going through what we are doing and you are getting it. If you are not getting it, chat me up. Let me explain to you. If it requires me sending a voice note, I will do that.
Okay, sir.
Any question before we call it off?
Sir, you said that in our next class, we'll be going over to APV.
Yes.
Well, sorry, what of this other question? This one on simple.
Yeah. On simple.
Lawa Limited. No, example 13. Are you going to send the solution to us?
Yes, I will send it. I will send the solution to you. And the fact that we are not sorry does not mean that we are not coming back to it. I'm just looking at those ones that are key. You understand?
Yes,
we should go to those that are key first. You understand? But
okay,
I will solve and send to you. And if we have time again, we can still look at it together.
Okay, sir.
My concern is for us to be able to finish the major area of the syllabus first before going to class.
Okay, sir.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
In this your solution, can you please adjust when you put NPV, it should be APV so that when you send it we'll get it right.
APV, which one?
NPV, sorry. The table for Yaron.
Okay. PV.
So, sir, are you going to send it this night?
On the table.
I will send it this night. Both the video and this. The only thing is that
the notes.
FCA. I don't know. Are you on our Telegram group?
I'm not. Not. Sir.
FCA free class is starting today, and I'll be having a class from 9 to 11.
Should we join? Give us the link now.
Okay, I'll send the link to you so that you can join. Of course. It's just for you to refer because it's what I've discussed that I'm still going to.
Okay.
Because it's a
Okay.
Telegram. It's not live like this. It's just through chatting.
Yes.
You
Okay,
understand?
through chatting and voice notes.
Yes, exactly. Through chatting and voice note. But you can still join so that it will be a kind of refreshment for you. So the class SFL will be holding on Monday and Wednesdays, 9 to 11.
Is today the first time of the
Yes, we are
first
starting today.
Telegram?
Yes. Today is the first day.
Okay.
Today is the first day. As a matter of fact, CR will have started by now. CR is 9 to 10. It's 7 to 9 rather.
Okay.
So any other question,
Thank you.
please?
So you've not adjusted the table.
Which one again?
The MPV you wrote on the table.
Oh, okay, on the table. Okay. Here, Abby.
Yes.
All right. Mrs. Angela, are you fine? The deputy governor.
I'm not fine, but I'm just flowing with you people.
It's like your network logged you out, Abby.
I log me out too, and the time, because it's a group thing. I cannot displease others in order to please myself.
But are you
Most
going
of the
through all
times
those
I'm on the road driving, so I
Are
only
you
rely
going through
on
all
what
those videos? But you are not asking me question now, even outside the class, Mrs. Angela. When you go through those videos, I expected you to, if you are not clear, ask questions. Ask questions.
Okay.
You are started asking me questions.
No
And I
problem,
sent voice note to her to explain better. So if you go through the videos and you don't understand, just chat me up or you send voice note.
Okay.
Please.
No problem. I will.
All right. So,
Okay.
good night, everyone.
Nice, sir.